Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about the update that is coming out tomorrow. Now, this update was initially supposed to come out today. They postponed the maintenance because of an issue they were having with authorizing the app update, but it looks like they did actually get that resolved, and the Tournament of Power and PvP seasons looks like will be ending tomorrow. And as you can see, the maintenance announcement in the game here says that the game will be undergoing maintenance on the 17th from, looks like that's 8 p.m. Eastern to 5 a.m. Eastern. So that is a 9-hour-long maintenance, which has a very high chance of being extended just because of how massive this update is. If you guys are familiar with how Legends has done their massive updates in the past, we generally get these at the end of each year. So yeah, there's a lot coming here. So I expect this update to bring not only the PvP changes, which is what we're going to mainly be discussing in this video here, but also the equipment rerolling changes. We're going to be getting the boost system in PvP. We're going to be getting the tier system. We're going to be getting the leader slot update. So a lot is coming out. Basically everything that they've talked about that's associated with this update, I expect to be releasing with this maintenance tomorrow, which is pretty much going to be releasing in 24 hours from when this video goes live. A little bit less than 24 hours, actually. So that is the essence of what we see here. Let's move over to Chrome real quick. We'll be able to take a look at this in just a bigger, more easy to see format here. So there's two posts I want to just quickly look at. The changes to PvP rating match. This video is mostly going to be about talking how they're going to change PvP, as well as the actual tier system that they're going to be implementing here, which is actually detailed for us. So, rating match updates. Rating matches were created to be fun and competitive battles playable with a single finger. However, several issues have since occurred. To give as many players as possible the ability to participate in PvP matches and test their strength in thrilling yet fair battles, we are making the following changes in rating match. Let me actually make this a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. We will continue to monitor player participation levels after these updates have been implemented and make any necessary adjustments. So the first thing is more chances to get rewards. Up until now, most of the ranking rewards for rating matches were only rewarded to the game's top players. In order to share the rewards amongst more players and make PvP more approachable, rewards will now be awarded to everyone who battles at least 15 times, even if they do not make it into the top rankings. That's good. It's literally just more rewards, right? Rewards will be distributed based on what percentile you achieve in the rankings of all players who participated in rating matches. And then it says if you rank first, you will receive the ranking reward for first place only. You will not receive the ranking rewards for placing in the top 15%. Yeah, that's how it works currently as well. Like you don't get the rewards for every bracket that you're above, right? You just get the one that you're in. The max battle rank raised to 70. The maximum battle rank is being raised from 50 to 70. Increasing the number of battle ranks will allow you to be paired with players who more closely match your ability level. We hope this change gives you access to even more thrilling rating matches. So, introducing season ranks based on battle ranks. Season ranks are assigned based on your battle rank. Hone your technique and aim for the highest season rank. So, I mean, this is, different than what we have right now. It goes from bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond. Pretty basic system here. I assume, for a lot of the players who are watching this video, my audience here, I assume most of the players here are probably going to be able to reach Diamond. I don't really know how hard it's going to be in comparison to what the current system actually is. Like current battle rank 50, like where does that actually lie on this scale? I'm not sure. But it says top players worldwide who meet the requirements will earn an extra special season rank after a certain amount of time has passed from the start of the season. So we will see how that actually works once this update goes live in game. Rating point increase/decrease adjusted. Now this is something new that we had never seen before in terms of them announcing it prior to this. You will now earn and lose more RP for matches. This change coincides with the increased maximum battle rank. This change will help place players in ranks that more accurately match their skill level. Battle ranks that reflect players' true abilities will in turn make it easier for you to match with an opponent of similar skill. Have fun playing rating matches that are even more exciting. The main issue that I have with this, right, this is the first time I'm actually reading this too, so that I'm trying to process this at the same time, but the main issue I have with this is that I don't think the issue with PvP is people not being in the right sort of league that they belong in. The issue I have with this is how does this affect matchmaking? Because currently, the way matchmaking works is it's honestly not that effective, I don't think. I mean, a lot of times you're fighting players that you either are not good enough to fight or are too good to fight. Like, for example, in the beginning of a season for me, I'm fighting people who clearly don't stand a chance against my teams, right? So, not only that, but also later on in the season as well, there are instances where I'm battle rank 50, and I'm like fighting people that have like 4,000 to 5,000 less RP than me. So how does that affect the amount of RP that I'm getting from a win and the amount of RP that I'm losing for a loss? So that's the only concern I have with this. We'll see how that works, but seems like it's hopefully aimed at gearing the system to place you in a I guess like one of these leagues that more accurately represent your skill level. New first win bonus. This is also new. For your first win every day, you will receive extra RP in addition to the usual amount earned. Play every day and aim for a higher season rank. The first win RP bonus is not affected by the double RP in the Golden Showdown. So that's good. It's basically like a daily for PvP, right? It's trying to give you a reason and coerce you into playing at least one PvP match a day, which I think is fine. I don't really have an issue against that. It's just going to make their more active players in PvP, right? Ultimately, what this is doing is you're going to have to play less PvP overall to get specific rating rewards, right? So I think that's a fine change. Adjustments to special rank up at season start. Adjustments are also being made to the special rank up feature. So that's easier to match with opponents of similar skill level at the start of the season. That's good. I can just briefly talk about that a little bit. And then this is really what I'm interested in looking at is the new tier system. What I'm actually going to do is we're going to quickly go through the overarching idea of what this is in this video. And I'm going to make a separate video sort of looking at the actual placements, because they have a separate post, which is this one over here, where they actually go through every single character and what tier they're in. And I'm going to make a separate video analyzing that and talking about which characters I feel like actually could be pretty affected by that. So, new tier system. We're introducing a tier system that gives characters a boost based on their usage rates in rating matches. Characters you haven't used much until now might end up turning the tide of battle. Check the tiers and prepare for the next rating match. These updates will be implemented in version 3.9. Yeah, again, so this should be coming out tomorrow. So that's pretty much all the changes that are coming for PvP in the game, right? And it looks like this is only going to be for rating matches, not for the free battle feature, right? Okay, so here we go. There's a separate post in the news that says check here for the initial tiers introduced in the first season. So again, we're going to go through this, but keep in mind there is a very, very long list of characters that we're not going to talk about in this video. I'm going to make a separate video breaking down my thoughts on the lists here. So, all right. So it says we will announce the tiers for the next rating match, and notice that the end date for this is tomorrow. So this is coming out tomorrow. What are tiers? The tier system gives characters a boost based on their usage rates in rating matches. The usage rates that tiers are based on will be taken from the previous 2 seasons. Each tier gives different bonuses. Characters you haven't used much until now might end up turning the tide of battle. Check the tiers and prepare for the rating match. Looks like these tiers will be in effect for the next 2 seasons. So I saw a lot of people maybe they were speculating, saying that, oh, every season we're going to be getting a different meta. Well, it looks like, I guess the thought process behind this was that every season was too frequent. And that they want to rather do this every 2 seasons just to have a meta that's somewhat stable and people really understand what's going on. Because I think one season, it's only 2 weeks generally, right? One PvP season. The meta might not even be like figured out by the time the one PvP season is done. So I think starting off with 2 seasons for each of these tier, sort of iterations, I think is a good decision. And if they figure out that it's too long or too short, they'll probably adjust that as well, right? Also, the size of the bonus effects may be adjusted when the tiers are updated. Yeah, so I mean, they definitely tested this out, right? This is not something where they're just implementing this without testing. They can only do so much with their internal testing, right? So if the beginning of this season we figure out that the boost that they're giving the Z tier units is too good or it's too much, then they'll obviously take that into consideration and adjust it for the next season. Or if it's too small, and even though the characters that are in Z tier are not really competing with the better characters, like they'll adjust those as well. So I feel like that's a fine stance to take. The only issue I have with this is that I would have really liked to see this update release a few weeks earlier than when it is releasing, just so that we don't have like this cluster beep of changes that are happening in the game at the same time as like Legends Festival and like all these new characters dropping and you have all these new features. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the 2.0 update back in 2019, December 2019. That was when they introduced the Red Star system. They introduced Zenkais. They introduced co-op. Like all these different changes that they introduced. and people were very, very overwhelmed, and they were lost, and there was no explanation going on about how anything works. So I don't think it's going to be nearly as bad as what that was back then, but I kind of feel a little bit of like there might be some similar feelings towards this, because again, this is, in my opinion, this boost system is probably going to affect PvP more so than any other change that they've ever implemented, because they're basically doing a blanket buff towards certain units, and this is basically the Tournament of Power system. We see that with like Z, S tier, or stuff like that, for boost units that they have there for rating match. So we'll see. I'm just a little bit concerned that this is going to I guess muddy the waters, for lack of a better term, when we have the Legends Festival going on. So we'll see. So the tier featured, there's different tiers here. There's featured, and then there's ZS ABC. The featured tier is not based on character usage. Instead, this tier includes characters who are new or who have just gained a Zenkai Awakening. Characters who are released mid-season will appear in the featured tier. So the featured tier, I assume what's going to happen with that is those characters will not be in other tiers. Like I'm going to assume that I don't know, let's just say we'll pick a random character. Purple Cooler. Purple Cooler gets a Zenkai Awakening. Purple Cooler, who just got a Zenkai Awakening, will be in the featured tier, but he will not be in any of the other tiers, right? It wouldn't be fair to overlap those buffs. And then if the same thing goes for like a new character, right? They release, I don't know, LF Tapion. LF Tapion as a new character, he would be in the featured tier. So that's sort of how the featured tier works there. So here are the breakdowns of basically what buffs each character is going to be getting based on what tier they're in. So Z tier looks like they're going to be getting 40% damage inflicted, 35% strike and blast defense. And then there's an after Zenkai Awakening column as well. I guess what this means is that, like, let's just say, for example, like Purple Turles, I guess, is not really a Zenkai character that's really used that often. So even though Purple Turles might be in like tier S, right, for example, he won't be getting the 30% and 25% strike and blast defense buff, and so he'll just be getting an 8% damage inflicted buff, and that's just to compensate for the fact that Zenkai Awaken character stats are just so much higher, right? Which I think is fine. So depending on what tier your character is in, they'll be getting these other buffs. So, I mean, again, there's a lot of characters here. I mean, the featured list, we can take a look here. Super Saiyan Vegeta, they just announced that this guy was getting a Zenkai Awakening. I assume this is the GT Vegeta here. He's going to be getting a featured buff here. Looks like you have the new Zenkai Murzumasu, Ultra Omega Shenron. This is probably the Cooler Movie Goku, Cooler Movie Piccolo, the new free-to-play Rose Goku Black, and then the Zenkai EX Beerus. So all these characters are either getting Zenkai buffed or they're new in some way. So they'll be in the featured list. Dude, imagine... imagine Cooler... I just did a video on the Super Saiyan team with Bardock and the Cooler Movie Goku on that team, and I actually also did this video will probably come out either tomorrow or the day after. I did one of the like hour-plus long showcases of that team at like top 10 PvP or something like that. Imagine that Cooler Movie Goku with just an extra 20% damage and 15% strike and blast defense on that team. That's going to be pretty good. Keep in mind, though, by the way, I believe these buffs are going to work the same way that, for example, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's equipment works, where, you know, he gets 35% damage inflicted on the equipment, but it might not seem a lot, but it actually, it's going to make a big deal, I think, because this is a base sort of pure 40% damage inflicted buff. Same thing with the strike and blast defense, right? This is basically like similar to how they actually treated Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, where you know, he got like this gigantic buff from the equipment. This is the way I would think about this is as like the units in these tiers are getting like massive like buffs from equipment. Like this is like a piece of equipment, basically, is how I would think about this. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of characters here. I mean, it's tough to really actually like figure out who they're referring to, just because there's like they say the Super Saiyan Goku. Oh, I wonder like what Super Saiyan Goku is this? Like we have to then go into like the the code here and figure out which one they're talking about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing a separate video covering all these characters and all these tiers, and I will try and create a list of characters that I feel actually like are going to get a significant advantage from this system. And then we'll take a look at that differently. But that is pretty much all I wanted to cover in terms of the changes coming to PvP at a very high level. So with that said, let me know down below what you guys think about these changes and what you guys think about the boost system here. Are you guys happy with these numbers? It's going to be extremely difficult to tell whether or not these numbers are like, you know, effective until we test them out, right? So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one.